asking about what to put in the email when you get the email is a must. Hi guys, welcome back to day 19 of 119 days of cold calling training. My name's Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl Lemon Sales. We're a sales training and development agency based in the UK as well as the USA and serving clients worldwide. And here today in day 19, we're here to talk about the email content approach. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link below to get an additional 17 strategies not shared in this training. So fundamentally, we've discussed in several videos the whole process around what happens when you get an email request that comes in, or someone who asks you to send an email. And as you can see, there's a lot that happens. That journey continues fundamentally because when you get asked to be sent an email, it's actually a supreme opportunity to qualify the prospect further, okay? And every prospect is going to identify with this because it's simply the truth that no one likes getting a generic, spammy sounding email that doesn't relate to their personal needs. So, therefore, if someone is potentially fobbing you off with asking to be sent an email, and we'll go into this also in the next training, it's prudent to ask them when they say, yeah, can you send me an email? Sure, send it to deepak.shukla or d@pearllemonsales.com. Perfect, thank you. Please just send it to d@pearllemonsales.com. Fantastic, brilliant. So Deepak, it would be awesome just to know, to make sure that I don't, send you, just send you stuff that isn't really relevant to yourself. Like what, knowing that we're specialized in limited liability insurance, what are the things that are important to you right now that maybe I could be sure to include in the email? Now, despite my terrible accent, as well as the invention of the service, which is limited liability insurance, which of course is a thing, what Richard, who's forever going to be the prospect now across these training videos, what Richard is doing there is something very, very smart, okay? Richard is asking what to put in the email. Like, what do I include in the email? Like, that we specialize in limited liability insurance, okay? So Richard at this time has already given the elevator, okay? So the elevator's already happened, and Richard is now asking that, well, given that I've given you the elevator, what should I put into the contents of the email? Because Deepak, the worst thing that could happen is that I send you an email and it's generic, and we've got templates and all of that good stuff, but I just want to make sure that it's right for your needs specifically. So is there something in relation to your insurance that's on your mind right now, given what I've told you? Well, you know what, Richard? One of the things that's happening is our insurance, it relates to the fact that we've got a growing and remote team. So looking at international or remote implications for hybrid teams would be well, no, we're not hybrid, we're totally remote. But whether what's the score with that for international teams? Okay, fantastic, Deepak. I'll come back to you. So there's a couple of things to consider with this, that Richard has now further qualified my needs, okay? And this is ultimately what we're trying to do, okay? We know that the prospect is a qualified prospect because he's in our prospecting list. But how do we know whether he's got a qualified need when he's not yet revealed anything about what he needs, even post-pitch? And he's just said, look, Richard, why don't you put it into an email, buddy, and I can have a look at it? Great, fantastic. Richard takes Deepak's email. It's DEEPAK. Great, so that's DEEPAK at, cool, got it, d@pearllemonsales.com. So Richard has grabbed my email address, and now it's an appropriate time to ask, what do I send in the email? Shall I send our usual stuff, or shall I send something specific? And I'm incentivized to tell him about something that I care about, right? Because I could send him, Richard could send me some of the generic stuff, but you know what? He's probably right. It's probably not going to relate to something I'm specifically working upon, because Richard's not a mind reader. And since I'm talking to him, why don't I throw him a line or throw him a bone and give him some element, some insight into something that's important to me right now. And this is the critical part that you can use as a means of qualifying the prospect without them even realizing that you're qualifying them, without them even realizing that you're getting more information from them, without them even realizing you're setting yourself up to get your foot in the door by asking what you should include in the contents of the email. Because any business decision maker will know, certainly it's the truth at Pearl Lemon, we've got some standard bump we could send you. Everyone's got some standard stuff that they send people, but everyone wants to receive the personalized stuff that was written just for them. So when Richard says to me, Deepak, is there something specific maybe I really want to make sure that I send you the right thing. So given we speak, I've mentioned in brief what we do, limited liability insurance for, remote companies like yours. Is there something specific I could be sure to include in the email? I really don't want to just send you something that you're going to end up looking at it, feeling it's irrelevant, and just archive it, delete it, and that'll be the end of that. It'll be a waste of time for you, and of course, it won't be the most effective use of time for me. So is there something you could think of? Now that, if you can hear what I've just done and get over my accent and all of the ribbing I'll receive for it, is an extremely powerful way to fundamentally qualify the prospect, just to see what's going to happen with that email. Do they really have a need? Is it really worth sending an email? Because you understand the value of the follow-up there also, depending upon the way that the prospect responds to that actual question. So, for example, response number one from Deepak would be, no, Richard, it's fine. Just send me whatever you got. I'll take a look at it at some point. Cheers. That is a red flag to say, is it worth it? I don't know. Response number two could be, well, actually, yeah, we're, how limited liability insurance actually applies for a remote environment. I'd be interested to kind of understand. Fantastic. So if you could tell me that, that would be great. Or option number three, which is, I don't really know, Richard. I don't have a need at the time. So just send me whatever you got, and I'll take a look at it. So response number three, of course, requires some further potentially investigation and digging, which we'll cover in maybe one of our advanced trainings, I shall see. But fundamentally, if you're not asking for what to include in the contents of the email, you're missing a big dang trick. So please, please, please always use this approach when you get asked to send an email. Cheers, guys.
Remember, we've got 17 gated strategies just waiting for you. All you need to do is bing, subscribe, as well as click the link in the description below to get access to those 17. Get some.